A few more face cracks running around the Greenleaf camp. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Greenleaf. This is the final season, season 5, episode 4. I'm processing the fact that our show is going to be going off, and I am pissed, but whatever. We start right off, face cracks. AJ decides to talk. You know, the last thing we saw, he went ahead and shared that he is HIV positive and that he didn't want to talk about it no more. But listen, AJ, you got to talk about it because you need your meds. You need to get yourself together. And that's the whole thing. He cracked Gigi's face. He came out there and he decided he wanted to go home. As they spoke to the doctor and all that. And the doctor was telling Noah and Gigi, you know, it's up to him what he wants to do. He could either go into a facility, you know what I mean? They could set him up in a facility, or he could go home. He told Gigi he wanted to go home, but he didn't want to go home with Gigi. He wanted to go home with Noah. I said, what? See, AJ, you do too much. You don't even know him. You don't know him from Adam's house cat. Whatever. And then what was that look that Noah gave? Like, I wanted to slap Noah and his son. With Noah's reaction, made me kind of understand why your son is so stupid. I just looked at the both of them and was like, Gigi, you do yourself a favor to just tell them both, go ahead on somewhere. Get out of here. Both of y'all. Anyway, so AJ decides to go home with Noah. Okay, so listen. Bishop, Lady Mae, and Jacob have a conversation. Baby, I tell you, Lady Mae was fit to be tied. She all but called Jacob a dumb bitch. Okay. She told him, you just did too much. And why are you even digging in this and don't know what you're doing, and you got some mess started. Now he got an X on his back. She told him, I love you, son, but I don't want to look at you. Just get out. I said, oh. Okay. He's looking at her like, well, wait a minute. She said, listen, I don't pet the head of the dog that eats off my plate. I said, oh my God. You know, she got some hell of a one-liner. Child, put him out. Put him out. So Bishop's like, I'm going to go and talk to Tara James myself and try to get some things straightened out or whatever. She had told Jacob, said, you and your wife. She said that Carissa, she said how she get it all started. She's at the helm of it all, laying up in here where we pay the bills and causing trouble. I said, girl, now there you go. That's the one. Right there. That one. Anyway, let's go on down to church. Judy and Phil, they did a double attack on good old Charity, basically. Let her know. They ain't even considering any of what she has to say or what she wants to contribute to the final service at the church before the church is torn down, because the service is like Sunday and then they're tearing down on Monday or Tuesday. They ain't interested in nothing she say. They ain't interested in what she wants to add. Nothing. Get on out of her. She's like, I put together a PowerPoint of our past and all of that, and the people deserve to be able to see where we've come from before it's actually gone, you know, it's demolished. They're like, no. Judy was like, no, we're not doing that. And she called Charity, and I see you as a necessary evil. I said, oh. Charity ended up, talking to Phil, Phil's like, I agree with Judy. I said, oh. And then the two of them together just tag teamed her. Meanwhile, Gigi was out in the hallway and heard it all. Gigi ends up coming in after they leave because they stormed on out like they had let her have it. And Gigi's talking to her, and she's like, listen, are you in or are you out? Darius has got a plan. It's something that has to do with Phil's mother. Are you in or what? I seen how they just treated you. What you get ready to do? Child, Charity is pondering back and forth. Are you stupid? Are you feeling okay? Goofball. She told her, girl, they shit all over you, honey. She told her, listen, help us find his father. Help us find his father. And that's what Charity, she's thought about it for a while. Like, I can't with her. You sitting around, like now you in a thing where you want to like protect your position at the church and protect Phil. Charity, you need your ass whooped. But anyway, she said, well, the reason why you can't find his father because he doesn't exist. That person, that DeMars, whatever his name is, DeMars, doesn't exist. His dad is an Black Panther with a new name, and he lives in a retirement village in New Orleans. I said, okay, come on, now let's go. Let's roll. Let's go on over back to the Greenleaf mansion. Baby, Bishop said, where are you going, Meg? She said, I'm going up here and kill Carissa. I said, oh. She go up there. She approached Carissa, told her, listen, let me tell you something. I know what's all going on. And the fact that you get everything all going and all about a couple hundred, what you want, a couple hundred extra dollars in a divorce settlement? You petty. Petty. All of this going on. She said, but what I want for you, while you waiting on all that to happen, I want you to get out. I said, yes, May. Finally. We want you, bitch, to get out. You get out and be on them streets while you waiting on your court date, whore. Now, I was like, I was here for it. Child, they got to going back and forth. She get to blurt out all the people that Jacob that messed around with. The woman at the church, Tasha Skanks. Shout out to random TV reviews. And also some other woman that used to cook there at the church. She was like, wait a minute, at the house. She said, he slept with her too before Marisol came. She's like, oh God. So then May gets to siding with Carissa. I said, May, what you doing? And Carissa told May, I said, now she's still a little too sassy. Told her, I'll let it go. If he just apologizes and forgives me, I'll let it go. We could be a family and move forward. But if he wants to play hardball and play rough, then game on. I said, bitch, you still talking shit. And May, I was like, I understood what May was doing because it's like for the greater good, just swallow it and let's go. We don't need all this. Just shut her up, you know. I said, But my mother would have cussed her ass out. Miss Patty would have been like, bitch, you still ain't packed yet? And might have started dragging her. You know, Carissa's a bit too much. Anyway, moving on. Aaron and Jacob and Bishop had a little chat. Basically Aaron told him, y'all need to like play nice. Going to court, you're going to be at the mercy of public opinion. Daryl James, Mac, and Basie are all dead. So you're going to be in the court of public opinion and you're probably going to end up not on the top of things. You know, you got all the riches. All of them are dead. Not a good look. May actually enters in and she was fussing a little bit. And didn't that Jacob turn around and look at Aaron and say, aren't you glad you ain't related? Aaron said, I'm just happy to be of service. I'm glad to be of service. And I'm like, child, that's the closest thing. The Greenleafs is the closest thing to family that Aaron actually has. You know, Aaron loves him some Gigi. and they literally are the closest thing to family he has. He's just been excommunicated, and his dad died, and it just, you know, even through their problems, that's the closest thing he got to family. So I kind of felt what he was doing, and I was like, oh wow, that's sad. Anyway, May and Jacob get to talking again. And she told him, what you need to do is get yourself together, get in there, and you apologize to her and you forgive her. She get the quoting off Bible verses and all this. He's like, so you sad with her? She's like, Jacob, you did this. She's like, she cheated. And you did it more times than she did. This, that, the other. She said, but you, see, She said, everybody has some problems. Everybody done did wrong. He said, you ain't never did anything like what she did. Jacob, what you don't know is your mammy was your mammy was an old Bible-toting whore. You don't know your sister ain't really your sister. And that Aaron is your sister's half-brother. See, you don't know May's transgressions, honey. And you sitting over there talking. And honey, May was sitting over there. And she was like, I said, girl, go on, tell them what you did, May. Tell them. She playing that game. I said, ain't that something? How you sit underneath all of that wrongdoing and still... I said, oh, that's the part of May that I can't do, honey. A mess. Meanwhile, your mother has done that, but I wanted him to tell May she burned me. Because you know what? I think that would turn it around, too. If May found out that she actually gave him a venereal disease, I think she would feel differently about what she was talking about, because it could have very well have been HIV that she gave him. It just happened to be chlamydia, but she could have given him HIV. I think she would feel a little different about what Carissa has done if she actually knew what Carissa did, other than just being, you know, just not being faithful. But anyway, that's a whole nother situation. I'm sure it'll come out another time. And she said to Jacob, what if I had done it? Then what? You go in there and you forgive her. I said, you don't want that answer to that question, May, because you did do it. But anyway, he just going to say, he's so goofy. He's like, yes, ma'am. He went in there. He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. He could not do it. He could not bring himself to apologize to her. He just couldn't do it. I was like, it's the realest thing you just about have ever done. Anyway, let's go back to Charity and Judy, honey. They have another little run-in. Because after the little situation with Charity and Judy and Phil, Charity runs into our girl, Connie. And she ran some things by Connie. Connie said, she says, well, why didn't you run this by Pastor DeMars and Judy? She said, I did. And they said no. She said, and now I'm telling you no. I said, oh. So wait. So here's the fiercest face crack of this whole episode. Judy comes into Charity and she said, oh, so you spoke to Connie after Phil and I told you no to what you wanted to do. She said, yes. She says, you know what? You're fired. I said, oh. She said, well, wait a minute. She said, you're fired. She said, you can't fire me, sweetie. So whatever. She will say, no, sweetie. See, Bob is my dad. This is H&H. The only person more powerful here than me is God. You're fired. I said, oh, this bitch. And marched on out of there. I said, oh, you can see it tastes so good in her mouth to say those things she said to Charity. I said, oh, girl, she got you, bitch. She got you. Then she goes, Charity run over there to Phil, and he's like, listen, ain't nothing I can do. We can't have you just like running loose like that. And every time we say something, you go question it. Charity, I can't. It is what it is. She said, really? She said, you know what the bad part is? I can't even hate you. Because you're like a sponge. I said, Did she just call him a sponge? A sponge. I said, oh. She told him, you can't fire me, and neither can Judy, because I quit. No, sis, you got fired. But whatever, that's fine. And she marched on out of there. She got him together real good and went on out of there, and you can see all the regret all over his face. Phil, you're a dirtball. Anyway, so that's that. Baby, then there was this little conversation with Bishop and Gigi. So, AJ came to the house just to pack up his things. Zora and Sophia was trying to talk him into staying or whatever. Gigi was telling Noah he's not asymptomatic, so he needs to get his meds, this, that, and the other. They're telling her, just chill out, just chill out. So she ended up having this conversation with Bishop, and Bishop told her, listen, Gigi, and this was good advice. It really, really was. And this happens too. This really does happen when you're talking about your spirituality and dealing with the God, the one that I serve, the one that I got the relationship with. You have to, and you taught this very young. You pray about something, and then you leave it. But we as humans, we have this bad habit of praying about something, and then we continue meddling in it. And then you're wondering why nothing's changing. Because you've prayed upon it, and you didn't leave it alone. You're supposed to pray upon it, turn it over to him, leave it alone, and then wait for what it is. Either it's going to turn out one way or the other. But you must let it go. Once you pray on it and you turn it over, that's what the whole saying, to give it up to God, and then you leave it alone. But we don't. We always continue meddling in it, and then it be getting worse, and you be wondering why. And that's what Bishop told her. He said, listen, and this is the thing, I love Bishop because he gives good advice, even though he got a lot of wrong in him. He still got that earth in him, but Bishop be on it. He told Gigi, listen, his father's here. You saved his life. You have to give God some room to move, Gigi. And I was like, absolutely, you gotta stop meddling in it. Girl, you gotta let it go. That was like I said, oh, Bishop. And he said, listen, you came back home after 20 years. You came back home, and nobody seen that coming. And and then he left that and left it alone. I said, oh, Bishop is a bad dude. Got up in there, went on about his business. Gigi's like, all right, I'm going to come back up to the house in a minute. They was out on the ground. And I just sat there for a minute. I paused it. I paused the whole, I'm going to be so mad when Greenleaf ain't on no more. Because I actually paused my DVR and I was like, that is so deep. That is so deep. You got to give God some room to move. Listen, sound like lyrics to a song to me. But anyway, all right, a song that ain't been written. Anyway, moving on. I said too much already. Okay, Carissa and Jacob. Like I said, Jacob couldn't forgive her. He just couldn't do it. He was like, I can't. I can't do it. AJ and Gigi end up having a little conversation. She came up. She listened to Bishop. Just that fast. She went up there and she told him. She said, "Okay." He's like, "I'm not staying." So she said, "I ain't even coming here to talk to you." She told him she wanted to talk to him. She said, "I ain't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about the other stuff either." She said, "All I'm gonna say is, you know you can always come back." And he told her, "I know." And he was getting his stuff. He was getting ready to leave. And she was sitting there on the bed. And he turned around and walked back and kissed her on the top of her head. And just like that, boom. The calm and the peace just fell right over top of her. I said, look at that. Look at that. Bishop's a bad boy. Anyway, so like I said, Bishop was right. Give him some room to move. Leave it alone. Stop meddling in it. That was like so perfect. I was like, oh, Greenleaf, love it. Anyway, moving on. Judy and Phil, baby, them two. So, Phil's pissed with Judy, but he ain't saying nothing. They at the house. And one of the things that Charity had said to Phil before she left, she said, this ain't going to make it. Calvary ain't going to make it. It may not even make it past Tuesday. And she went about her business. And he was sitting there, this is something that she said. Just sounded like there was something in the works. I just feel uneasy. And she said, oh, nobody worried about her. There's nothing in the other. The whole thing just is ringing in his head. Calvary won't make it past Tuesday. I said, Then we had this whole situation. That nasty, stinking ass Judy was trying to suck Phil off. He ain't want it. I said, girl, listen, let me tell you something. Come in close, Miss Judy. You know that you are a filthy skank that ain't worth a quarter when the man don't even let you suck it. He don't want to let you suck it. Girl, it's over for you, ma'am. He don't want you. He don't like you at all. Don't respect you. Don't see it for you at all. Men walk around begging people to suck it, honey, and he won't let you suck it. Any of you all run around begging to give head and can't do it, and the people tell you no, you know you ain't shit. Oh, shame on you, Mr. Colwell. Anyway, moving on. Judy, you filthy wench. Okay, so Bishop had went and talked to that, the Basie and them sister, and they prayed and all of this, and everything was supposed to be just good. Everything was cool. There was more scenes of Bishop losing memories and stuff too. But he said it's over. They was all getting ready to sit down and eat and everything. May had just said, I don't believe it. And I don't either. I don't believe it either. Something ain't right. So that was that. Everything was supposed to be just so-so. So they get ready to eat. And then the whole family's there. Like the whole family's at the table. Carissa had actually told May, you know what? I know that you're going to get behind Jacob and make him do the right thing as pertains to me and Winky and Zora. So I'm going to drop it. The whole thing with the will. I'm going to leave it alone. So the whole family comes down. Bishop's phone rings. It's the Skanks girl, honey. And she said she thought it over. And she wants to talk again. She wants to speak about the house. I said, oh. And Bishop sitting over there, I said, look at you looking simple. Looking simple, honey. And May was fit to be tied. I said, oh, here we go. I believe she got some mess. And I have this feeling that either Basie really ain't dead or Rochelle is pulling some strings and carrying somewhere in the background. She is carrying on. But we're going to see. That's it. I'll catch y'all next week for Greenleaf, y'all. Later.